మీ చిరునవ్వు, మీ నడక, వావ్ నైస్. ఛీ, ఎందుకులే నీకు ఈ ఏస్ బతుకు, ఛీ, ఎందుకులే నువ్వు బతుకుతావు, ఛీ.
Initially for the movie, I was looking for an original Telugu language show, but sadly the shows weren't available with subtitles nearby me. But nevertheless, I have watched it in Hindi language, and honestly, it was a long journey to experience in a theatre. As we all gear up for the continuation of the Pushpa Raj journey, the stakes were already high. Following the massive success of the first part, Pushpa 2 The Rule promises more action, more drama, and a deeper exploration of the man at the center of it all, Pushpa Raj, played by Allu Arjun. This time around, the film sets itself up as more than just an action-packed sequel. It's a deeper exploration of Pushpa's thirst for respect and power in the syndicate of the smuggling of red sandalwood. So now we're about to take a closer look at how director Sukumar has built the world and whether it adds anything new to the story or this film too has fallen into the trap of repetition. So hello everyone. I have watched the film Pushpa 2 The Rule starring Allu Arjun, and this is Cine Samvad tries to discuss about some good, bad and some noteworthy aspects of this film. The movie already had a stirring excitement due to the massive success of Pushpa The Rise and Allu Arjun's captivating performance in it. But does this film actually live up to its hype? We're about to find out soon. The plot of Pushpa 2 follows the growth of Pushpa Raj's character after solidifying his position as a leader of the syndicate. Story moves itself forward between Pushpa's struggle with multiple foes, but most notably Bhavar Singh Shekhawat, played by Fahaadh Faasil. The plot explores the further rivalry of Pushpa and Bhavar Singh Shekhawat and his personal dilemmas more deeply as well, which also showcases his relations with his brother's family. In this nitty-gritty of all the action and drama, the question arises, will Pushpa be able to beat and outsmart his opponents or not, with further twists and turns into the story. Now moving on to the overall review of the film, so I think the movie rightfully follows from the story where it left off in the first movie. If I'll try to break it down a little, so when we last left Pushpa Part 1, he was on top of the syndicate and the smuggling world. But there was still some unresolved questions at the end. Now with Pushpa 2, the story continues where we left off. The narrative of the movie now focuses on Pushpa Raj's battle to consolidate his power while dealing with both political figures and the law enforcement led by the formidable Bhavar Singh Shekhawat. Along the way, Pushpa faces challenges that range from personal conflicts to external threats. And at the heart of this, we also get to see his personal side like in previous film, especially his relationship with his wife Srivalli, played by Rashmika Mandanna, which adds more emotional depth to the story. The film doesn't focus too much on a recap of the first part, but it does reiterate some visual cues that helps to ground the audience in the world of Pushpa. However, much like the first film, Pushpa 2 tends to get bogged down by heavy over-the-top moments that aim to please the masses and sure think it works for a larger audience, but fails to add depth and sense of reality to the story. The film opens with a sequence in Japan, which expectedly transitions into an intense action scene that somehow builds the global reach of red sandalwood smuggling, which the first film has already hinted at its start. From here, Pushpa's battle with adversaries intensifies as the film introduces us to a string of new characters, out of which some of them are significant and some merely were window dressing and looks forced into the screenplay. I'd say that the director Sukumar continues his method of portraying Pushpa as a larger-than-life figure, but sadly this time, it feels as though his stardom totally overshadows the story. Despite Allu Arjun's stellar performance and being the undisputed star of Pushpa 2, the movie's narrative feels repetitive at times, especially when it comes to showcasing Pushpa's dominance. The movie actually dwells too much on moments meant to inflate Pushpa's image rather than pushing the plot forward, which surely makes the film feel longer than necessary. But nonetheless, the movie has some amazing sequences to witness on a big screen. Allu Arjun's portrayal of Pushpa Raj totally shines in many key moments of the film, especially during the Jatara sequence, where his performance shines in an androgynous avatar. And we get to witness his acting range, which are on full display in this scene and in the final act as well. Despite doing everything right on the mass appeal level, The film suffers from a weak story progression and no character development of the antagonist and other secondary characters. The film actually feels too hero-centric rather than something that actually has good characters and storyline in it. The set designs and the character designs are good, but if the story doesn't have the required depth, then it only feels as a hit and miss experience. You'll probably remember the scene from the movie because of Allu Arjun's performance, but the story is something that you will forget really easily. Many characters were introduced in the film out of the blue just to set up a symbolism and probably to take the story forward. While the first part of the movie succeeded in balancing the rise of Pushpa with a compelling story, but Pushpa 2 heavily stumbles by relying too heavily on spectacle rather than a real substance in the story. The lack of strong character arcs reduces the film's emotional weight. Also to mention that I had very high hopes from the character of Faasil, and it truly has done justice to his role as an ego-driven antagonist. But I don't know why, but many of his scenes and confrontation feel cartoonish at times, as if director didn't want to create an intense relation between him and Pushpa. And after watching this, I felt that we had highly misunderstood his character from the first film. The tropes that the movie uses in its screenplay are not new at all and are something that we have watched in several other movies. But the way Pushpa showcases those tropes and executes in its screenplay are quite unique and impressive, and they totally serve their purpose to appeal to the larger audience. But again, the characters that were introduced in those scenes just appears out of the blue and becomes a part of the story. Apart from this, I feel that most of the songs in the movie have been used unnecessarily. They add nothing to the story and just distract the audience from the main storyline. Pushpa 1 album was good and people remember those songs even today, but there will be hardly any song that you'll remember after watching Pushpa 2 in theatre. These songs just add up to the runtime of the movie, which was already quite long. Further, if I'll talk about the visuals and cinematography of the film, then I must say that visuals are one of the strongest aspects of this film. The camera work and the vibrant color palette add layers to the storytelling, especially in the Jatara sequence in particular, which was really a visual spectacle and undoubtedly was my favorite scene from the movie. It truly had that perfect color contrast, and the framing of the shots leaves a lasting impression on the audience. Overall, the movie focuses largely on a fan service and somehow serves that purpose, but it fails to deliver a compelling storyline as an awaited sequel. Now, turning to the marks of the film, so I would give this one an honest 6.5 out of 10. I think the film has good action and elevation scenes that attracts the deserved hooting from the audience. However, it falters in terms of pacing and story development. The film's over-reliance on mass appeal has made it look a weaker film in terms of the first movie. In my opinion, Pushpa 2 is a film that leans heavily on spectacle with worth-watching elevation scenes, but movie does all that at the cost of a narrative coherence.
पुष्पा सिर्फ एक नाम नहीं है, पुष्पा मतलब ब्रांड.
So finally, that concludes my review and few thoughts on the film Pushpa 2 The Rule. I feel that it is a decent follow-up to its predecessor, but it doesn't quite capture the same magic as the first installment. It is truly a treat for the fans of Allu Arjun and the director Sukumar. But for those looking for more grounded and cohesive story, this sequel may disappoint you as a viewer. You too, please share your thoughts in the comment section of the video about this film and let's have a healthy discussion about it. Also, if you have enjoyed this review, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel for more content ahead. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at CineSamvad for short reviews and cinematic insights. Thank you for watching. We'll meet in the next one. Cheers.